Yeah.
How can the body, I guess the body can't handle it, so you end up with damage.
Every athlete I've spoken to and every athlete they've spoken to all have the same stuff. Well, there's some extremes, like there are some Parkinson's and some ALS, things like
Oh,
strokes and seizures and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a whole, if you look up CTE, you'll see everything in my community.
explain it. CTE, what does that stand for?
You know, there's a lot of words I can't pronounce anymore. And some of them are simple words. I can see them, but I can't say them.
Yeah, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Quite a mouthful.
That's better than I
It's
could say it.
defined as a progressive neurodegenerative disease caused by repetitive head injuries such as concussions.
Yeah.
So basically repetitive concussions, resulting in memory loss, difficulty concentrating, confusion, aggression, impulsivity, depression, balance issues, tremors, seizures, Parkinson's-like symptoms, goes
Yeah.
with what your friends. George told me on when I talked to him, is getting so he'd take him, 14 hours a day to do a 6-hour job, and then he got really violent, and he didn't know how bad he was, but his family, he learned later after he healed that they didn't know who was coming home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he would get pretty aggressive, and he didn't know it. I mean, he just didn't know how bad he was.
If you look at all the past suicides from NFL,
Yeah,
most of those were married men who were living away from their families.
yeah,
That's the telltale. You hear the same thing over and over. He was a gentle giant until he wasn't. Like we don't know what happened. He's all of a sudden, all of
right,
a yeah, it's the same stuff over and over.
right, right.
The following information is for educational and entertainment purposes only and is not meant to diagnose, treat, prevent, cure, or prescribe for any medical or psychological conditions. Seek out the opinion of a qualified healthcare professional if you need medical attention. The guests of this show provide their own opinions and may not represent the values or beliefs of Living Waters Wellness Center or Whole Body Detox Show. And welcome everyone to today's Whole Body Detox Show. I'm David DeHaas from Living Waters Wellness Center. Living Waters Wellness Center was formed after we discovered how to heal my body from multiple symptoms, including allergies, asthma, chronic fatigue, back pain, psoriasis, acne, hives, yeast infections, and finally, cancer, and I did it all naturally. After 20 years of trying numerous different treatments, medical treatments, cleanses, iridology, muscle therapy, acupuncture, acupressure, homeopathy, naturopathy, those experiences led us to discover that recipe that led to become known as the 4 Natural Laws of Healing. Combining multiple natural healing modalities to fully detox and cleanse the body and allowing the body to take the perfect nutrition to fully restore the body back to its innate health. This became known as a 10-day healing retreat. We've helped thousands of people just like you get their health restored so they can live their life to the fullest. And if you want to learn how you can get your body back to living your best life, go to livingwaterscleanse.com, click on that link, 4 Natural Laws of Healing, and watch the video, or call the office at 208-3789-911.
Good morning, everyone. David DeHaas from Living Waters Wellness Center, where miracles begin by healing from within. Today, I'm pretty excited to have this guest on because this ties into a lot of the episodes I did in the past on reversing dementia, Alzheimer's. As you longtime listeners have been listening to the show for the last year, since January, I've been doing these shows on the brain. And Will Person contacted me, and he's a 9-year Team USA bobsled athlete whose career left him battling the devastating effects of CTE. At his lowest point, he could barely get up off the floor, lost in confusion, depression, and deteriorating brain. And hope came when he discovered hyperbaric oxygen therapy, which restored clarity in his thinking. He's got a big mission now. I'm excited to get into all of this, especially the sport, because I'm a big sports guy. So Will, welcome to the show.
Oh man, thank you for having me.
So how did you get into bobsledding? What was that? Were you
Ooh,
playing sports and that just came out of it, or you're a fast runner? Were you the pusher? What?
yeah, I was a sprinter, long jumper at the time, and
Okay.
the truth is, I kind of got tricked into it, just like everybody else. We all kind of get tricked.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. That was a tryout for the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. I was probably
Yeah,
one
I was
of the,
there.
oh yeah, okay. Well, I was one of the fastest sprinters, American sprinters in the state. I was training at BYU at the time, and so somebody called me and was like, "Hey, they're doing tryouts for bobsledding," and I was like, "I don't want to do that." I remember that agony of defeat thing that they used to show when I was a kid. It was always a guy on skis who wiped out and broke every bone in his body, and then you see the bobsled crash. I was like, no. But I started thinking about it. I was like, well, maybe this is my last year of track and field. I'm about to wrap it up. I had just started doing football movies for Hollywood, like Jerry Maguire. They put uniforms on me and let me run on the field and make Cuba look like a professional runner or football player. And so I was doing that, and I said maybe I'll find a sponsor. So I go to this tryout. There's like, I don't know, it's probably 100, 150 people out there, and they bring out this kind of like a treadmill. You know, they take a treadmill, it's flat, then they elevate it. And they had some weird bobsled handles on this thing, and so you have to hold these handles. They crank it to 10 miles an hour. It's on a computer system. So the faster you run on it, the better time, the quicker you get to 10 miles an hour, and they time it. So the first 30 people went through it or so, and it was my turn. And when I got on it, remember NBC's covering this thing, all these hot lights are on me.
Right.
So when I do it and I finished, this guy, his eyes are like this big. And so I didn't know if it was good or bad. I just knew I did something different, And this guy puts his arm around me and asked me, he said, "Hey, buddy, if you race on my team would you take 50 grand for the next 3 months?" And I'm thinking, sure, if it's a good price.
You're coming out of college with no money. Yeah, 50 grand, that's great.
Well, actually, no, I owned it. I wrote the first ever independent living transitional housing program for the state of Utah for youth as a private provider. So I had that thing open. I'm a business guy at that time, So me and my passion was mental health and helping people. So that's just what I was doing. But no, I'm not getting an educated answer. If it's a fair price, if not, we can renegotiate. Now, the ironic part is that was a Wednesday. We get up to the bobsled track on that Sunday. As we're going up this mountain, we pull off all the bobsleds. They pull the sleds off. My old college teammate is standing there. He's like, "Will, I've been trying to call you, to come race on my team." So this driver, he panics. He pulls him to the side. "Hey, don't leave me out. I'll get you more money." And the truth was, he didn't have any money. NASCAR built our bobsled. So our sleds are shaped like NASCARs. They're shaped like sharks. His sled was shaped like a AMC Pacer. I don't know if you remember that old car with the bubble on it.
Yes.
It was a non-aerodynamic, and no matter how fast I pushed this guy, like the girls' teams were beating us to the bottom. So we weren't going to win anything. He didn't have any money. He can't, that's how most people get tricked into the sport that way. You have no idea what you're getting into. You just showing up, you thinking this is real, and sometimes it's just really not. So, but eventually I switched teams that week, and I wound up winning a medal my first week in the sport. It was like, so I auditioned, I tried out on that Wednesday. So by the next weekend, I won the medal in the America's Cup. NBC TV show followed that story and ran it. It's called Go for the Gold. And it was something different. It was new, and I rolled with it for 9 more years. Yeah, I stayed 9 years after that.
Was that a full-time occupation?
Well, we race. We get into training camps around June, July, and our season ends around January, February. So it's pretty much full-time. So when you get your off-season, you still training, because remember, there's thousands of people waiting to take your job. There's only 12 spots if you're lucky. And so you gotta stay ready.
12 spots. How many on a sled? How many want to go down the hill?
There's a 2-man team and a 4-man team. And so there's usually three sleds, a 4-man. So it's about 12 athletes, maybe one alternate.
Okay. And then when it comes down to the Olympics or a particular race, do that you race all 4 teams from that country, or is it just come down to just that one team?
It's usually 3 teams.
Okay.
Would you get, sometimes it's 2 teams. I don't even know what the new rules are. Like when I was racing, only the top 2 teams raced. That 3rd team was the alternate. And then they switched it to 3 teams. And I'm just not sure, to be very honest. I've kind of been out the loop with that on the last game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you get on the team, and then I suppose you've got some crashes that happen.
Yeah, I've had 7 crashes that I could remember. Which is
7 that you can remember.
Yeah. Well, I know I'm a little bit compromised on some stuff, so maybe I might have been an extra crash or 2 in there, but 7 of them I really remember. And that might only be 7. I didn't crash a lot, though, compared to others. I know some people who crash 17 times a year. So,
wow.
So 7 over 9 years, I'm not complaining as much. Yeah.
So everybody in that industry has bounced their head off of basically glass, hard ice.
Well, no, there's one guy who told me he never crashed, but he has the same symptoms as us.
Tell us more about that. So you talked about here when you said over the bio that just going down that sled is really shaking up your brain.
Yeah, on most days, like when it's World Cup time and you in the big races, like if you go to an ocean early in the morning, the water's like glass, and that's how the bobsled track is on race day. But on practice day, it's not always like that. You might have
Right.
little bumps and ripples in it. And so what happens as you go across these things, your head vibrates. It's kind of like this. It's like it's like shaking baby syndrome. It's like somebody's
Shaking baby syndrome, yeah.
Yeah. So you're dealing with that. You're dealing with these extreme G forces, which they told us it was only 5 maximum. There was an article published by the New York Times. They tested it, one of the tracks in Canada, and it was spikes of 84.5 G forces.
Whoa.
Yeah.
How can the body, I guess the body can't handle it, so you end up with damage.
Every athlete I've spoken to and every athlete they've spoken to all have the same stuff. Well, there's some extremes, like there are some Parkinson's and some ALS, things like strokes and seizures and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a whole, if you look up CTE, you'll see everything in my community.
Explain CTE. What does that stand for?
There's a lot of words I can't pronounce anymore. And some of them are simple words. I can see them, but I can't say them.
Yeah, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. Quite a mouthful.
That's better than I could say.
Defined as a progressive neurodegenerative disease caused by repetitive head injuries, such as concussions.
Yeah.
So basically repetitive concussions, resulting in memory loss, difficulty concentrating, confusion, aggression, impulsivity, depression, balance issues, tremors, seizures, Parkinson's-like symptoms, which goes with what your friends. George told me when I talked to him, he'd take him, 14 hours a day to do a 6-hour job. And then he got really violent and he didn't know how bad he was, but his family, he learned later after he healed that they didn't know who was coming home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he would get pretty aggressive and he didn't know it. I mean, he just didn't know how bad he was.
If you look at all the past suicides from NFL, most of those were married men who were living away from their families.
Yeah.
That's the telltale. You hear the same thing over and over. He was a gentle giant until he wasn't, Like, we don't know what happened. He's all of a sudden,
Right.
Yeah, it's the same stuff over and over.
Right. So how how did you discover hyperbaric chambers? How did you fall into that? And what else did you try? And I'd like to know also what else you tried, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there listening to the show that are in this. They may have, like my daughter had a car accident. Or I was thinking of the day my son, he had, when he was a kid, he hit a car, he fell off, he fell off a bike, play football. I was thinking of, he's had 5 serious concussions in his life.
Wow. Well, for me, I found it by accident. I was at my lowest. Like, I was at the point where when I started understanding why my teammates were taking their life, I knew I was in trouble. And I started doing everything I can to fight this thing. But originally, I was just like the symptoms. I was addressing the symptoms. For example, you hear a lot of people with head injuries. They'll say, I think I've got adult ADHD. You hear it over and over and over. And they're going to get evaluated for it. I did the same thing.
And what drug did they give you?
Adderall.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But it didn't work.
Make it worse?
No, they gave me the Zoloft they gave me. Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I was on the edge on that one. Like I was already praying for death before that thing came.
Wow.
And after that was, I was just in an extremely dark place with it.
Wow.
I got to the point. Like I just really recently just started being able to say this one out loud. But like I once had an uncle. He had a physical for his job, yearly physical, and he went in one time and they was like, Mr. Wellington, are you in pain? He was like, no. He said, you're in stage 4, pancreatic cancer, and he died so fast. So for me, I couldn't take my life. I was a counselor my whole life. And I saw the damage that it does to the family when people take their life. So I made a deal. Like, I can't end my life. But if God takes me earlier, it's okay. So I was praying for death. And I was like, just give me that pancreatic cancer, please. I mean, I was just like, because you want it over with. You just don't want to keep living that life that you're living.
Yeah. Okay. So when did the symptoms, how old are you now? May I ask?
I'm 55 now.
55. And you quit when you were 36?
36, yeah.
36. And when did the symptoms, were you halfway through your years of competing the sport where you'd had enough concussions that you had some pretty severe symptoms? What was that like?
Well, I think it's more so it's the concussion, but it's also those G forces. I think the G forces are doing more damage than the concussions are. And then from what I know about the sport now, every time we went down that track, we were probably getting the micro.
Wow.
Those are the dangerous ones because like when I get the big one, like the first big one I had, I had vertigo for a week. I couldn't get back in the sled. But there's been some times where I was racing World Cup. They crashed me. We went back to the top of that mountain within an hour, going back down that hill, and we crashed again. But every time we went down that track, I believe it's doing something to the brain where it's you get those little micro concussions, and so my red flags, they showed up, but I rationalized. So for example, we traveled a lot. So sometimes I would have a panic attack. I'll wake up and I don't know where I'm at. So I have to turn the lights on really quick and look around the room and I can tell where I'm at. And but I just kind of rationalized. I'm thinking, you know what? I'm representing my country. I travel a lot. What a great life. I don't know where I'm at because I travel so much, and then some other things happened, like another red flag. I was hanging out with some friends I hadn't seen in a long time. So we went down to a little place, shoot some pool or something. And my friend was looking at this young lady. He said, hey, that's your ex-girlfriend over there. And I was telling him, I was like, it's a pretty girl, but I don't know her. And then she ran over and jumped in my arms and I caught her. I was like, oh, guess I do know her, and all athletes think they're God's gift to women. And we ripped to shreds, we were all muscled up and we think, And so once again, I rationalized it. I was like, you know what? The ladies just love me. But the truth was, I was forgetting familiar faces already. And names. Yeah. And it took me until 2021 when I actually admitted it out loud to people because I knew it was happening after a while. So I got this thing that I do. I'll be like, how are you doing? How are you? I never said names because I knew I didn't know these people's names anymore. Yeah.
Wow. And so what's interesting, you wrote in here when you said, or over the email, this is the way the sport is designed, but yet what does the federation, the bobsledding federation, what do they say about all this? I mean, basically the way I see it from what you're sharing with me, you're getting attracted into a sport that's guaranteed to wreck your brain. That amount of 84 to 93 G-force, but they didn't disclose that, did they?
No, they tell us only 5. So
only 5 Gs, no big deal. Oh, if you have a concussion, just get back on the sled and try it again. And you put in here, watch the other guy, make sure neither of you fall asleep.
Yeah.
That's your coaching advice?
Yeah, my first real bad concussion was in St. Moritz, Switzerland, live on TV. Matter of fact, my girlfriend was in training camp and she was watching it live. So I remember after the crash, I got back to the hotel, I had all these messages in my inbox, like, letters. Over in Europe, you get these letters. They put the letters in the box. So, yeah, everybody was so concerned. But we went down that track. And one of my guys, Andrew Tucker, he was knocked unconscious, right? And I had really bad vertigo. And so when we got back after the track.
You're going down the track, one guy's unconscious, you got vertigo, and you're sailing down this track.
Well, no, this was the crash caused that. This crash.
Oh, the crash caused, okay.
Yeah. So we get to the bottom. He's unconscious. They wake him up. He's my roommate. They told us to go back to the room and just make sure you guys watch each other so you don't go to sleep. So back then it made sense. But now I'm thinking, I was like, okay, was the guy who was unconscious supposed to watch the guy with vertigo? Or a guy who can't sit up in the bed without the room spinning supposed to watch the guy who, was knocked unconscious? It just all makes no sense.
You can't. This is crazy. That's amazing. Yes.
Yeah, and that's the most medical treatment I ever got from at any point in time during my body.
That's the most medical treatment you would get from the organization that's sponsoring this whole thing. Is you watch each other, don't fall asleep.
Yeah, that was it.
Don't stay away from bright lights. Don't wear special glasses. Don't drink more water. No hyperbaric chamber. Nothing like that. You
see these special glasses? I wear them now.
Yes. Yeah.
But I have to. Yeah, I didn't wear them back then, but I have to wear them now because I'm sensitive to lights, sounds, and smells. So it's just
My daughter, she got T-boned and she sees snow out the side of her sight.
Yeah,
which is interesting. She's a professional skier as well as an artist now. She became an artist doing pointillism, kind of an interesting tragedy to success story. But I got her some special glasses down at the institute in Utah, the Dixon Eye Institute. I took her down there. She got a special rose-colored glass. What do you have? What are you using?
It's just a slightly brown, more tint.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure what the.
So when they based upon how your eyes are working, is that they come up with that tint for you, or is that something you just said this feels best? What?
This feels best. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to the point where I was always wearing just sunglasses.
Do you have trouble looking at like my daughter? She for many years, for about this is 2016. She couldn't look at a screen. She couldn't be under fluorescent lights. She worked for Enterprise Car Rental at the time, and she lost that job. She just couldn't be around any of those bright lights.
Yeah.
Similar to you?
Yeah, bright lights. That's why,
Yeah.
If we weren't on here, I wouldn't have any lights on in the house. So, keep it pretty dim. Yeah.
Right. Okay, so you're going along. That's their best. When did no treatment at all through the whole career? Nothing offered by the association?
No, nothing at all.
And they take aspirin? Did you have severe headaches, migraines?
Oh, yeah. I still have those migraines. You never know when they're coming. I had vertigo. That will just show up when it shows up. Yeah, you just never know.
That's interesting. I've got we do a 10-day healing retreat here in Boise, Idaho. And during this retreat, the last several retreats, I've had people with migraines. Some of these are people who were veterans, fought in Iraq or Kuwait.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Some are just people that didn't, but they had severe migraines. But one of the big things, and this would be something for you to think about, is that the transverse colon is the connection to the brain. There's all these connections go from the transverse colon to the brain. So how that colon is living is how you're living. 80% of your serotonin, the happy mood stuff, gets made there. But anyway, and this has just been last 3 months, we've had several people with migraines, and they've been able to clear their migraine headaches by doing our 10-day healing retreat. We're getting rid of the toxins out of the body. We're going to do a liver cleanse, kidney cleanse. We're going to flush out the parasites and heavy metals and so forth. And when we do that, then that inflammation, of course, reduces, and of course, good things happen. Have you ever done any colon hydrotherapy?
Not quite exactly sure what it is. Is it
All
just
right.
colon?
Well,
is it colon, you said?
Colon hydrotherapy, yes. It's infusing water into your colon. I got a video on my website, Living Waters Cleanse. You've been listening to me talk with 6-time world champion bobsledding. Little did he know when it began, he would end up damages in brain severely, and we're talking about his recovery here. And if you want to learn more about healing the brain, we did many episodes on this, episodes 200 through 210. We did one a few weeks ago. A lot of information about the brain. I'll put all that in the show notes. Whole Body Detox Show, episode 246. Links on the website at livingwaterscleanse.com. And remember, the transverse colon is where your serotonin gets for your mood, and there's all the connections to the brain. So healing the gut is also paramount to successfully healing the brain, with its migraines, headaches, recovering the brain, and of course what Will is talking about here. I'm David DeHaas from Living Waters Wellness Center. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Once in a lifetime, a healing tool comes across your path that can really change the ability for the body to heal naturally and quickly. We have found such a tool, and it has changed the way my family lives and how our clients at Living Waters are helping to heal their body. It's called phototherapy, and phototherapy is the ability of your body using waves of light to turn on your body's ability to make its own stem cells. No surgeries, just simply a little Band-Aid sized patch that can activate your body to make stem cells. As you age, you're producing less and less stem cells, and by age 60, you're making none. So when it comes to healing and repairing, it is a long process. We can now speed that process up by using phototherapy. Go over to stemcellpatch.net and watch the videos there. And go ahead and try these patches for a few months. These patches have helped so many of our clients reverse pain, help speed up the healing, sleep better, and on and on. You'll see some of the testimonials over there. It's an amazing little tool that you should be using right now. For less than the cost of a cup of coffee per day, you can now be increasing your body's ability to make the stem cells on its own. Stemcellpatch.net, or call the office at 208-3789-911.
Nothing is more exciting than seeing a client shed their diseases and symptoms caused from accumulated toxins from the chemicals in our foods, the clothes we wear, and the air we breathe, and by cleansing through colon hydrotherapy and treating the whole body naturally. Here's what a few clients had to say about their experience at Living Waters Wellness Center.
My name's Richard. I came to Living Waters because I was low on energy and for my memory, and I've accomplished both. Living Waters did it for me. Thank you, Living Waters.
My name's Peg. I came to Living Waters about a year ago, so I run pretty hard when I'm working. But through this retreat, I think one of the biggest things that I've gained is that self-confidence. Thank you, Living Waters.
Hi, my name is Anna Lewis, and I came to do the 10-day cleanse because I hadn't been feeling really well, and so I could cleanse, get rid of parasites and toxins in my body, and those were great help. So thank you, Living Waters.
To learn more about the 10-day healing retreat, go to livingwaterscleanse.com, click on the link for Natural Laws of Healing, and watch the video and check out this hundreds of clients who healed from their symptoms under the Success Stories tab, or call the office at 208-3789-911. That's 208-3789-911. The preceding examples may not be typical of your experience, may not be right for you. Talk to a healthcare professional to see if cleansing is right for you. Welcome back to the show. David DeHaas, 6 of the Whole Body Detox Show. Today we're talking with Will Person, who's my guest, 6-time world-class bobsledding champion, but it cost him his brain, and fortunately he's learned how to recover it. We're talking about that here today. And by the way, lots here. This goes overtime, episode 246. Check out the podcast for all the show notes, all the details, all the other healing episodes on the brain that we've done here on this show, KIDO Talk Radio and the podcast Whole Body Detox Show. Check those out at livingwaterscleanse.com to learn all the things to help to heal your brain. If you want to learn how to heal your body, call us at the office, 208-3789-911, or go to livingwaterscleanse.com. Watch the video, The 4 Natural Laws of Healing. And now back to our interview. .com explains, what it does. It's really easy to do, but you're putting water into your colon, and that's doing 3 things: dissolving the old fecal matter that's been sitting in there sometimes for years. 2, it's creating peristalsis, getting that muscle to start squeezing again so you have regular bowel movements. And the 3rd is getting those neurons to fire and wire the nerves that every organ in your body connects to the colon.
Which one is that? What do they call that one? Is it colonics? It's not colonics, huh?
Yeah, colonics. Colonics or colon hydrotherapy, same thing.
Oh, yeah. I've done one before.
Okay.
Yeah, once again, it was kind of that thing is every time I had a symptom, I started trying to treat that symptom,
Right.
For example, we talked about the not being able to focus. And then when if you do the research on my condition, it will say make sure your T levels up. So I went and found a doctor that would give me tests. It didn't work. Like I did it for like a year. It was before I found the hyperbarics. But then when I combined it with the hyperbarics, it was great. But before that, it was a waste. Yeah, it didn't really, it just made me start probably producing more muscle or something. But I was still laying on that floor, all the same symptoms, man. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's our society. They chase symptoms because there's, you get a name for whatever your symptom is, and there's usually a chemical that they want to give you for that. And in the natural arena where I'm at, we're saying let's heal the root cause. Let's get rid of what's worked from the bottom up. But we know to be true after 17 years of doing this, until you heal the colon and to get the toxins out of your blood system. So when you clean up the blood, now the nutrition can get to the cells and you can heal the cells.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you got 50 trillion cells. You're just made up of cells.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so we got to reduce that inflammation. So that's the power of, you got to start with colon hydrotherapy. There's just no other way around about it. You can't drink enough water to effectuate. I mean, it's amazing to me after all these years. I've done probably 800 colonics. I've done 11 10-day healing retreats, 69 liver cleanses.
Wow.
And I mean, I feel much better than I did in my 30s.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing there.
I still can't dunk a basketball, but
Well, I can't do it anymore either unless I try to warm up for 2 hours. Probably still can't do it.
Okay, so you're going along. I mean, this is amazing. So this industry is still going on. People love to watch the sport. They're getting new recruits every day, and no one's warning them.
No, and then I started watching it was a suicide here and a suicide over there, and I found it out by accident. It's not like people are just sharing the information, or the Federation reaching out and sharing the information. And so we get together as a community and mourn this person's death, and then business as usual. Wait a minute, something's not right. Something is not right here. And one day, there's one of the athletes, we weren't really friends doing the sport. There's a lot of little cliques up there, We were acquaintances. We were civil to each other, but we just weren't friends, and we didn't have a bond. But when I left the sport, I moved to LA, and my one buddy, he wanted to be a writer. So he would call me and give me these ideas that he wanted to write the script. And I'll tell him how to tweak it up and fix it to make it real, And so I just kind of connected these dots over the last month. And this happened prior to COVID. So he was giving me these ideas. And what I know now is his mind was slipping. There wasn't creative writing at all, because the very last time he called me, he was speaking gibberish. And he got so frustrated, I couldn't understand him. He hung up the phone. And so here I am in my apartment in LA, and I'm telling myself every day, I got to help him. I used to own a treatment facility for youth. I was a program director for some. I've worked as a counselor for the state. I wrote, I've done it all. I was crisis intervention instructor for the state of Utah. And so that's my background. I love mental health. That's my thing. So I told myself every day, help him. And I didn't do anything. I did absolutely nothing other than talk about it. And then eventually I got the word back that he went to his family's factory and he hung himself.
Oh.
And we had a memorial call for him. And I didn't get on that call because I felt like I was partially responsible for that death because I didn't do anything. I knew he needed help.
Right.
And then what happened is, as time was going on, his autopsy came out and he was in stage 4 of CTE. And
wow.
I was told his brain looked worse than any football players I've ever seen. He said it's not even as worse than NFL brains. And,
wow.
And it makes sense to why there's so many of us struggling right now. And then the other part of that is I start to forgive myself when I know he was in stage 4, but also I realized I had to give myself some grace. At that point, I was living on the floor of my own apartment. Like I took the mattress out of my bedroom and put it in the living room. And because it was the quickest way to get to the kitchen, if I need to get to the bathroom, or if I need to get to that front door, or if somebody needed to get to me. And I was laying there. How was I going to help anybody?
Yeah. Did you take any pain medication? Were you taking any pain medication for it?
No, I didn't have a lot of pain. Like when the migraines show up, I'll do like, Tylenol or ibuprofen or something like that.
Okay.
I never took anything else for them because you never know when they're coming. Like they're random. It could be 3 months in between them, or 6 months in between them, or 2 days in between them. You just
oh wow,
never really know. Yeah.
The last guy we had on the cleanse that was, his injuries came from working, working in the war. He said if I could catch it early, I could take some heaviness, pain, I could probably stave it off. But if I didn't, he says I'd have to go home and lay in a cool, dark, quiet place for a couple of days, and that would happen 3 or 4 times a month.
Wow, yeah. Mine could be that often, but it's usually spread out a little bit more. And you just like, I remember one time I was on a road trip. I was in the middle of nowhere, and man, that thing hit me. I just puking. When it hits you hard, you're throwing up, and you just And I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere, and I just had to lay back in that car and just kind of close my eyes and just get through it.
Right.
Yeah.
So you found hyperbaric chambers, and so how long have you been doing treatments?
I started in 2022, like toward the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you go into a facility that had the big hard shell, or did you do a soft shell? What'd you do?
I did a soft shell.
Okay.
And the only reason I knew about it was because Joe Namath had put some videos out saying that he reversed his CTE symptoms. But he never said what his symptoms were, so I didn't know what his symptoms were, but I was intrigued. But at the same time, like I'm thinking, I'd already tried, the Zoloft they gave me. I tried, I'm thinking it's not going to work. And if you research CTE, you just see all the destruction of the people that harmed other people or harmed themselves, and I'm just thinking, this is not good,
Right.
Yeah. But so I went and tried it, and it changed my life. About the first hour I was in that thing, like I came out and I could see colors again. And like the salesman, when he saw me come out of the chamber, he saw me, I kept taking my glasses off and putting them back on. And he came over to me. He was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" And I was like, "I don't think I need my glasses." And then when he went, you one of those? I started thinking, yeah. So, but I thought he was trying to sell me a machine, but he said some people get immediate relief and some people need like 30 days of 2 a day to get the same relief. And for me, it woke me up right away. And it changed my life.
Wow.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I have a TikTok channel now called One Man with a Chamber. And all I do over there is try to teach people how to live with CTE, because I stepped in every pothole that there is to be stepped in.
Right.
And for me, racing for 9 years, if I took between 1 to 6 rides a day, 4 to 5 days of the week, or 4 to 5 months of the year for 9 years, and if the truth is, if we were getting micro concussions on every ride, no one in the world can have more concussions than me. Like that was a lot of trauma to the brain. And if it can wake me up, I feel like it has to be working for everybody. But some people say they got permanent relief. For me, I don't get permanent relief. If I go 30 days without treatment, I'll go backwards.
Really?
So that's the difference so far.
Now, in a soft shell, I think they've gone to 1.5 meters, correct? Is that the deepest it goes?
Well, I have a 1.3, but you can get a 1.4, 1.5, or 2.0.
Okay. I know in the hard chambers, you can go down to 2.5 I think.
Well, they have 2.0s, and if you go to the hospital, I think they have 3s. I think
They
it's
might, yeah. I think the one I've been in, I usually muscle test myself, and I'm going at when I do it by myself, I'm 2.3. I found hyperbaric chamber when I almost died in 2021, and got this really bad virus, virus, and lost 30
wow.
pounds in 15 days. Not a good diet protocol.
Yeah.
Did colonics right away, did my PEMF, doing all this stuff, and then my gal that worked for me, she was working in a hyperbaric chamber, and she found out about it, what was going on with me. She says, you got to do hyperbaric. And you don't know how bad you are when you're in it, right? And I says, okay, but I can only do one thing a day, and okay, I'll get to it. And I remember I did my first ride, my first dive, and I remember I was just super cold. I was just super cold in it. But when I came up, she told me I barely qualified to go in. She says, David, you're on the cusp. But she put me in, and I came out, and I got up, and I stood up, I started talking, and my wife and her went, oh my gosh, that's the David we knew.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I told you before coming on the air here, my mother has dementia, and she was going to get kicked out of her assisted living center this week. And I says, I got to get in a hyperbaric chamber. We've got to address this. And because her words were not in sentences, were not stringing together correctly. And she got up and wandered during the night, went into the wrong room. But she came out of that chamber, and I mean, different person. And she got evaluated the next day, and they said, no, you're back to baseline. We can stay here after one treatment. So we've done 3 this week, and we were signed up for 20, and we're going to do 40 at least. From what I found, I talked with Phil Rainey up at Sun Valley Hyperbarics, as well as their local lady here, Jen Latte, Hyperbaric Chambers, Idaho, that's usually 40. Now I know George said he ended up doing, I think, over 160.
160 sessions or hours?
Yeah. No, treatments.
I'm probably at the 550 hours in.
Okay. When you go in, are you in for an hour at a time, hour and a half, 2 hours? How long does it take you to do a whole treatment?
I mix it up. I usually do 90 minutes.
Okay.
So, but sometimes I'll do an hour, or if I just really don't have much time, I might even hop in for 30, 40 minutes.
Now, you have one in your home, which is fantastic. Do you have to have someone be there or can you do it all from inside yourself?
Yeah, do it all myself. Yeah. Matter of fact, that was a criteria for me. I had to have something I can do on my own because, yeah.
Yeah. No, I met a guy about 4 years ago, prior to me having, about 5 years ago. And he told me I can't remember the whole story, but he had a friend who had a hyperbaric chamber, and he was diving as much as he could get because it made a huge difference in his life. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going, man. There's no, I'm so glad to be on your podcast today because, one of the things that I talk to people about is reversing your CTE symptoms or calming them down and getting you off the edge. But I keep telling people, guys, please read between the lines. I was in dementia. We all have loved ones who are getting older. And now that I've been telling the different people who sell them or who make them, and they'll be like, oh, yeah, they help with dementia. There are studies about Alzheimer's and dementia. And I'm a walking testimony because, let me tell you how crazy it was. Okay, my apartment, this is like a square block, right? Let me turn this. It's a square block, right? I live right in the middle of this block. And on some days I was so cloudy, I didn't want to drive because I didn't want to hurt somebody. Maybe I might, so I would walk to the store. So my apartment is here and the store is over here. So I just make that little left, store here. On some days I would ask myself, what if I go the other way? What's over there? I couldn't figure it out. It's the same thing, dummy. You just went the other way. It's a square block.
Wow.
And that's how this thing is. And once it takes your ability to rationalize, I was struggling with reading. I had a buddy who I was producing some shows with writing. And he called me. He said, hey, why don't you write this show? And I just told him, no, I don't want to write it. I didn't tell him why. Because at that time I didn't know. I thought I had attention to deficit disorder. I thought it was that because I open that computer up and I'll just sit there. Anything I want to do, it's going to take me forever. I tried to fill out an application the other day and it was 5 pages on computer. And I still haven't finished it. I was I just forget it. It's that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your goal now? You've got a big mission here. You want to buy some chambers and you want to get, do you have a nonprofit? Is that what you founded to get people into these chambers?
Yeah, I want to start a nonprofit because let me tell you the fact. I started the chamber for free, right? I did the second session for free. Now I know this thing is working. It's not a placebo. It's not in my head. It's actually working. I'm alive again. Now I need $20,000, on which I want to pay an 18 for mine. And I had just bought a home. I didn't have cash laying around like that. There was no financing available. I laid back down and was I was fading away again. But my girlfriend had been talking to my father. My father had been trying to tell me he wanted to give me the money. I was like, no, I'll move some money around eventually. I'll have it. I'll get it. No big deal. But by the time I tried to figure it out, I was already back where I started at. I was cloudy, confused. I was back to that just being a lump. You're just there, and one time, like, I remember after I got the chamber, I was doing so good. Like, I feel, oh my God, I beat this thing. Joe Namath was right. It reversed my symptoms. I said, let me stop using it. So I don't know how long it took. It was a few weeks. But eventually I was back in that dark place again. I mean, I don't want my girlfriend to see me. I'm in the corners crying when she leaves. I'm outside. I go for walks. I'm just trying to walk this off, like, figure this out. And then I came back in the apartment, and back then I had a 1-bedroom, and my chamber was in the living room. I tripped over it, and I went, oh, yeah. I was trying to see if I still need this thing. And so then I got back in it. In a couple of days, I was good again. The problem is, when that mind goes, you're in trouble.
Yeah. So how can people, you've got a website, you got a TikTok. Where's your website?
My website is actually being created right now. It should be up any day. But you can find me on any social media, One Man with a Chamber. Okay. My name, William Person. Everybody's a person, Person. Yeah, guys, please donate to this thing. It's really going back just for our athletes, our military. And then once we get up and moving, like, I found so many different subcoaches who need this, like the housewife who fell down and hit her head. Now she's acting bizarre and no one's connecting the dots. Like, that. And so that's what I really want to do with this thing. It's just provide the same treatment was given to me. Like I said, most people I know who go through it, like, they get that permanent relief. So I'm really hoping that most people fall in that category. And you're not as damaged as me. I did 9 years of this stuff.
You've got a GoFundMe. We'll put links in the show notes. Those of you listening on the radio, go to wholebodydetoxshow.com. In the show notes, I'll put all these, his way to connect to him, his GoFundMe campaign. He wants to raise $500,000 to open up his center for athletes, military in need. And you've got a place out in St. Louis, outside of St. Louis?
Yeah, my dad just retired. A few years ago, he's got this huge building. I can get it for Midwest prices. Like, I'm in LA right now, and people want me to open here. But over there, what I can pay for 10 months of rent over here, I can buy the building over there.
Right.
So my goal with this thing is, like, when my time comes for me to leave this earth, I want it to still be running. And so that's the goal. And so like,
your first goal is to get one medical grade hyperbaric oxygen chamber, which is the hard shell, right?
Hard shell, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I have one, like, I can start treat people in mine, but, like, it's not made for the wear and tear.
Yeah, and plus the beauty of the other one, you'll be able to go deeper. You'll be able to, as people need it, and dive as down to 2.5 or whatever that they need, which is what I've found to be very beneficial. That'll be great. That'll be awesome. Obviously it's a huge need. Phil Rainey of Sun Valley Hyperbarics was telling me, he says, David, there's only 3 diseases that insurance will pay for hyperbarics.
Really?
I can't remember what they are right now, but it's in that podcast somewhere around, I think, episode 226, somewhere in that range. No, it's bizarre. He says, I don't understand why they don't have more of these. He says, nope, there's just 3 diseases, and then they have to come. Everyone has to come to us. So he has had a lot of people, MMA fighters, what you're doing. He has a foundation out in Sun Valley and treated a lot of people. He was showing me the brain scans, the SPECT scans, and it was wild, the difference before and after. I mean, take the MMA fighter. He'd been in the military, so he'd been beat up there, a lot of brain damage, and then he would go outside, get slammed against the head fighting. I don't remember the guy's name, but he's well known. Anyway, he's recovered. So no, you're on the right path here. It's just like colon hydrotherapy. Most people don't know or are afraid of to go do hyperbaric chamber. But my experience is you do the colon hydrotherapy, get that colon healed, get the neurons firing and wiring in your gut, because that's where the serotonin's made. And then, get the nutrition. Now you can get nutrition to the cells, get the blood clean, get the nutrition to the cells, and you get this hyperbaric chamber, getting the oxygen, compressed oxygen into your brain. It's a great 1-2 punch for sure.
Yeah. I haven't done a colonics in a while. I need to probably. I'm working on. I was going to do a detox coming up. I was trying to figure out which one I want to do.
Well, I'll invite you out to Boise, Idaho, and come to Living Waters. And our detox for our 10-day is really special. You're here 5 to 6 hours a day, doing multiple different modalities. We have a special PEMF machine, for example. We teach heart rate variability, coherence. I do sound bowl therapy. We do far infrared, of course, multiple ways. We do whole body vibration, lymph detox. And then there's the component of the emotional, mental, and spiritual. So we have a bunch of tools we introduce to you to release the emotional. Get this just happened. This is so exciting. This lady came to us 2 months ago, referred to us. Short story, 2017, cancer, body part taken out. 2019, cancer again, body part taken out, more chemo radiation. 2021, repeated the same thing, new body part out. She's running out of body parts, right?
Wow.
2019, did a whole bunch of natural stuff, great stuff, spent 50 grand though, and had this tumor the size of a tennis ball in her abdomen. She could feel it. I mean, they told her to go home and get prepared for a funeral.
Yeah.
She heard about us, came in, did the retreat, and then on day 4, I took her through what I call this process called the journey. And this is where we go in and release the emotional stuff that usually it happens to us when we're kids, maybe babies, kids, teens, whatever. You can have any time in life. But in your cells, think about this. In the cells, 99.999% of the atoms in your cells is simply space. It's not blood, not bone, not tissue. What's in the space? Frequency. Change the frequency. So she had done talk therapy. She'd been all kinds of people over the years. She'd been abused. And the way we do it, and we've been told this many times over the years, that 10 days is worth 20 years of psychotherapy or whatever, therapy she did. Anyway, she released it and she says, David, I feel like I've lost 50 pounds. The weight's off. I forgave the guy that did the things to me as when I was a child, and now the way you guided me through that was so amazing. And she says, I can't feel the tumor. The tumor's gone. I said, oh my gosh, put that on video. So we did. I got the video. I haven't got on the website yet, but it's an amazing story.
Yeah.
We see those stories all the time, but yeah, it's we gotta forgive ourselves. We have a lot of trauma throughout our years, and that's a big part of as well as the physical that we do here at Living Waters Wellness Center.
Wow. That's a lot though. That's pretty good. That's really good.
Yeah. Okay. So you're suing the insurance company that covers USA Bobsled Skeleton, right? The USABS Federation.
Well, I'm suing the bobsled team itself. The insurance, they are involved now. It's the people who have the insurance policies, So. Yeah.
Well, George fought him from 1980 on, and he just got a settlement.
Well, my thing is, I never asked for money for myself. To be honest, when I filed the case, there's different ways of looking at this, but the truth is, people make me out to be this just hero. But I was dying. Like I'm sure I was dying. I didn't have much time left.
Right.
And the only thing I asked for was take care of my guys and warn the new generation before they start the sport. So even right now, they won't warn them. Yeah.
Right, they'll warn them. So my question to you is, should we just get rid of the sport?
I think that they need to change the sport. Like, there's an article that states that they tested one of the tracks in Canada. It was 84.5 G-forces. Military pilots black out at 15 or 12, and they're using pressure suits to keep them from blacking out. They don't teach us how to deal with G-forces. Nothing like that. It's too much for the brain.
Yeah.
And so they need to change the terms. Pull those G-forces out, number one. Number two, transparency. Like, for example, I was talking to the judge, and I told him, I said, Your Honor, I can go to your children or your grandchildren, and I can ask them, I tell them to look me up, and you'll see I'm the U.S. national champion.
You've been listening to me talk with 6-time world champion bobsledding. Little did he know when it began, he would end up damages in brain severely, and we're talking about his recovery here. And if you want to learn more about healing the brain, we did many episodes on this, episodes 200 through 210. We did one a few weeks ago. A lot of information about the brain. I'll put all that in the show notes. Whole Body Detox Show, episode 246. Links on the website at livingwaterscleanse.com. And remember,
The transverse colon is where your serotonin gets for your mood, and there's all the connections to the brain. So healing the gut is also paramount to successfully healing the brain with its migraines, headaches, recovering the brain, and of course what Will is talking about here. I'm David DeHaas from Living Waters Wellness Center. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Once in a lifetime, a healing tool comes across your path that can really change the ability for the body to heal naturally and quickly. We have found such a tool, and it has changed the way my family lives and how our clients at Living Waters are helping to heal their body. It's called phototherapy, and phototherapy is the ability of your body using waves of light to turn on your body's ability to make its own stem cells. No surgeries, just simply a little Band-Aid sized patch that can activate your body to make stem cells. As you age, you're producing less and less stem cells, and by age 60, you're making none. So when it comes to healing and repairing, it is a long process. We can now speed that process up by using phototherapy. Go over to stemcellpatch.net and watch the videos there. And go ahead and try these patches for a few months. These patches have helped so many of our clients reverse pain, help speed up the healing, sleep better, and on and on. You'll see some of the testimonials over there. It's an amazing little tool that you should be using right now. For less than the cost of a cup of coffee per day, you can now be increasing your body's ability to make the stem cells on its own. Stemcellpatch.net or call the office at 208-3789-911.
Nothing is more exciting than seeing a client shed their diseases and symptoms caused from accumulated toxins from the chemicals in our foods, the clothes we wear, and the air we breathe, then by cleansing through colon hydrotherapy and treating the whole body naturally. Here's what a few clients had to say about their experience at Living Waters Wellness Center.
My name's Richard. I come to Living Waters because I was low on energy and for my memory, and I've accomplished both. Living Waters did it for me. Thank you, Living Waters.
My name's Peg. I came to Living Waters about a year ago, so I run pretty hard when I'm working. But through this retreat, I think one of the biggest things that I've gained is that self-confidence. Thank you, Living Waters.
Hi, my name is Anna Lewis, and I came to do the 10-day cleanse because I hadn't been feeling really well, and so I could cleanse, get rid of parasites and toxins in my body, and those were great help. So thank you, Living Waters.
To learn more about the 10-day healing retreat, go to livingwaterscleanse.com, click on the link for Natural Laws of Healing, and watch the video and check out this hundreds of clients who healed from their symptoms under the Success Stories tab, or call the office at 208-3789-911. That's 208-3789-911. The preceding examples may not be typical of your experience, may not be right for you. Talk to a healthcare professional and see if cleansing is right for you.
Welcome back to the show. David DeHaas, 6 of the Whole Body Detox Show. Today we're talking with Will Person, who's my guest, 6-time world-class bobsledding champion, but it cost him his brain, and fortunately he's learned how to recover it. We're talking about that here today. And by the way, lots here. This goes overtime, episode 246. Check out the podcast for all the show notes, all the details, all the other healing episodes on the brain that we've done here on this show, KIDO Talk Radio and the podcast Whole Body Detox Show. Check those out at livingwaterscleanse.com to learn all the things to help to heal your brain. If you want to learn how to heal your body, call us at the office, 208-3789-911, or go to livingwaterscleanse.com. Watch the video of the 4 natural
9 years.
And now back to our interview.
Quite a few medals. I'm legitimate. You look me up. So I can tell your children, your grandchildren, hey, you guys look like great athletes. I want to train you to be my side portions. Let's go for the next Olympics. I'll take you with me. People will look me up. There's legitimacy over there. They're going to be like, yeah, let's go for it. Well, what I didn't tell them is I've never driven a bobsled before. I'm going to take them down that mountain, and I'm going to crash them and concuss them every day until I quit or until they quit. And that's just kind of what the sport is. There's no one there to tell you, don't get in that sled. I eventually myself, I started telling people, like, you might not want to, I quietly tell them. But I didn't know about CTE back then. I didn't know it was doing the damage it was doing. But nobody wants to get a concussion. No one needs that stuff.
Right.
But yeah, they just, it's the transparency. Let them know.
Do you have kids?
Yeah. I have grandkids now too, so.
Greg, have you encouraged them to go be a bobsledder?
Absolutely not.
George said the same thing about football. He says, David, I don't even watch the sport. I've got my kids. They're physical like me. I would not allow them to play football.
Yeah, no way. And I feel bad. Like I used to do this thing called the Celebrity Bobsled Club where I took different actors down the track doing Sundance Film Festival. Like Cameron Diaz, I took her down one time. And, you know, I guess she was a adrenaline junkie. I didn't know that. But yeah, she didn't like it very much when she got out, man. She was speechless pretty much. Every actor I took down was the same thing. When they get out of that sled, no talking for about 15 minutes. And but most people, like if you get on a roller coaster, people describe it as it was fun, you know.
Right.
Most people do the bobsled, they'll be like, it felt like I was fighting for my life.
Right.
And it's because you can't experience the same G-forces. You've never experienced them until you get there or F-15 fighter jet. Only two places you're gonna experience it. Yeah. But they're brutal. Like, yeah. And then when them symptoms kick in, oh my goodness, man. Like I trust me, I understand why these guys are, you know, taking their lives, you know.
Yeah, that's so sad that they, and that's, you know, there's still today, Mike Rowe just had the gal that, you remember the trans athlete that spiked the volleyball and knocked that lady out playing high school volleyball, and
I
she
didn't
can't
see
play
that
the
one.
sport again. Mike
No.
Rowe had one, and she says the trainer came over and held up a finger and said, "How many fingers do you have? Do I have? Am I holding up?" And that was the test. And she's, oh yeah, she's cleared. She can go back and play. She did not go back and play. She cannot play that sport the rest of her life.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
She needs a hyperbaric chamber for sure. Because
Yeah.
I believe truly, you know, 17 years of watching miracles after miracles here at Living Waters, I truly believe, I don't care what you got, you have the ability to heal anything. Just got to get detox, get the chemicals out, get the right food, the right nutrition. Your
Yeah.
body has, you're made in God's image. You have the ability to heal. No doubt
Yeah.
about it. But that's and now here, you know, as a referee, soccer and basketball, it's still a very weak protocol. No one's suggesting hyperbaric. They're saying no, just get some rest, stay away from bright lights. You know, go do your homework, just rest for a bit. I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
Just rest and then come
Well,
back.
That's the problem. Like for me, I was an athlete. I started running track when I was 6. Then I quit, started again when I was 11. And I competed from the time I was 11 till I was 36, right? I've had a lot of injuries. Like the brain is the only injury they ever told me, don't do anything. Like everything else, you got a treatment plan. You're going to do this, you're going to do the ice, you're going to heat, you're going to rice, you know, you're going to ultrasound, stem, you know. We'll give you a towel and we're going to break up that scar tissue and, you know, we're going to go in there with the elbow and just make you scream until you cry. Brain, nothing. Go sit down. Like, just does, it makes, like now I'm looking back like, I understand why I am where I am. I understand why my teammates are where they are now.
Right.
So you have to treat it.
What are you doing for diet? Have you changed your diet? Are you adding in fats? Are you eating straight coconut oil? Are you taking omega-3s? What are you doing for the brain to feed it?
You know, I'm off and on with anything that you have to ingest in the body. Like if you give me a pill, I might take it for a couple of days and it's gone. I'm not gonna keep up with it. But as in a diet, like when this thing first kicked in, I thought I had diabetes because I couldn't get out of bed. Like felt like I had low blood sugar. And so for me, every night before I went to bed, I put a thermos of coffee or a bottle of Coca-Cola on the nightstand next to me. 2 things I never even consumed before. Because if I didn't have that, I wouldn't get out of the bed till 3 o'clock the next day. You know, and so for me, it's like I always ate really, really clean. I still eat pretty clean. But I thought this thing was diabetes. You know, and one thing about the head injury, what I've learned is the symptoms is easily disguised as other stuff until you start digging. You know, you got to, like, for example, there was one lady, we randomly met by accident, and she was telling me she had a doctor's appointment. The doctor can't figure out what's wrong with her. And she started telling me her symptoms. I was like, man, they line up with our symptoms. And then I said, was you an athlete? She said, no, never. And I said, well, this is a little touchy. I said, I know you went through a divorce. Did your husband ever, hit you in the head or anything like that? Domestic violence? She's like, no. She said, we talked for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then she was like, oh yeah, one time I went snowboarding with my son and I fell and hit my head and my arms did this. And I was like, okay. I gave her all the information. I was like, your doctors, reason why they can't figure out is they're not looking at your head. You don't even remember this injury. So I gave her information, look into this, and so that's what this stuff is. Like, you really can't, you know. And then some of the stuff is misdiagnosed. Like I was watching. Do you know what Kanye West is?
Kanye
He's
West,
the,
yes.
yeah, okay. He had a documentary that came out a couple weeks ago, and I didn't want to go see it. My girlfriend wanted to see it, so I had to go. Do what I have to do. So I go and I'm watching this documentary, and first thing that hit ring the bell for me. I remember when I took Zoloft, and it would make me symptoms get worse. It made things just. I was at a 10, now I'm at a 50. And so Kanye was talking about the meds make him feel bad. I said, okay, that makes sense. I've heard that many times. And then he said, he talked about when he was diagnosed, and I was doing the math. I was like, he was 40. Nobody gets a bipolar diagnosis at 40. You get them at between 18 and 21. They're sitting there waiting on you like clockwork. You're not getting past 21 with that. Maybe it's about, but not usually. And so then I said, he sounds like he had a concussion. And then I remember one of the songs that he wrote. He talks about a song where he broke his jaw in a car accident, and his jaw was in the back of his mouth. That's okay. He definitely had a concussion there. They probably didn't treat him the same as they didn't treat us. And when I came home, I plotted out my injuries. My first concussion was 2002 in the World Cup, and then I had red flags, but it got unbearable at the 10-year mark. And then again at another 6 years after that to 8 years, it was just progressively got a little worse. So I plotted his out from the time that he turned 40 and was diagnosed. And I actually predicted the year he had his car accident. And I had my girlfriend look it up. It's 2002. It's plotted out. I said, I got it plotted on my board in the back. So there's like a pattern kind of here. So most people, when you leave the sport, like even these insurance companies, they're really hoping the statute of limitations run out on you so you can't sue them. That's what they really want to happen. So because CTE doesn't show up for 10 years. Most places, after 2 years, you can't sue for injuries,
Right.
Unless the judge allows it, yeah. But in our case, like everybody was sick, and I was just trying to figure out what this thing was before we knew about my last teammate, before his suicide with CTE. We just I figured I'd get people talking. We're gonna figure it out together. But come to find out, they knew what was going on, and they covered it up, and they had no intentions of that, and they still don't have any intentions of warning people, except for my court cases making them warn them. And the only offer on the table is they just want to evaluate the athletes, which is the reason why I pivoted. Like I'm still fighting them in court. I'm the only one. Matter of fact, my lawyers and their lawyers are together now. They're like a team, and I'm like, I'm not signing off on that because it doesn't help anybody.
Right.
So, yeah, would you take your kid to a doctor who won't treat them? Like, who would do that? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So
your goal, get them to warn them and get them some treatment. So
yeah.
Yeah.
So we have to slow the suicides down. And most of the people have no idea. Like, even with myself, like I didn't know what this was. Like their article came out, written by New York Times called Sledhead. Like, I read the article and it went over my head. I was like, oh, I got on my knees and thank God all the symptoms missed me. But the truth was they did miss me. It was my loved ones who noticed. They read the same article, circled some stuff, and like, hey, buddy, take a peek. And when I went back and looked at it, they were right. I checked everything on that list except Parkinson's.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see it. Meanwhile,
Right.
I'm at doctors all the time trying to figure it out. But yeah.
Well, that's amazing, and I'm glad you're doing this. So hopefully you'll have a good outcome. I'm going to connect you with George. Maybe he can give you a little insight to his success because he did get a settlement out of it, and I don't know what else. Anyway, you guys need to talk for sure. So I'm going to connect you two, and I'm excited about what you're doing. Obviously, it's kind of sad. We've been, hyperbaric chambers have been around for a long time, but they're just not very well known. And we're spending trillions of dollars in this country on SSRIs and all these drugs and chemicals.
Yeah.
People are experimenting. Did you ever experiment with mushrooms or any other psychedelics or go do a ayahuasca? Or, people are doing this stuff. They're searching for something because they
I've
want
never
to get
tried
better.
it. Yeah,
And
I was
they say, well,
afraid.
I'll take this for my brain.
No, and I was afraid to try that stuff. I was like, what if I don't come back? I'm already
Yeah,
dead.
no, it's probably smart you didn't take it, because I know some people who are taking it. I don't see them getting better at all. I see them getting worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think we're lacking chemicals. Now, occasionally, maybe sometimes there's a hot moment where you need something like that, but overall, let's repair the body, and this is a very inexpensive way. I know sometimes people, oh, it's a lot of money, but compared to what?
Yeah. My question, if you're doing that many sessions, why don't you just have your own?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, I looked at mine when I showed one to my mother 2 years ago, and she said, "Oh, I'm not getting in that because of the, as you know, the soft side are a little more cramped." Let's
I
say,
got a
right?
bigger one. I got
Oh, do you?
yeah. Like
Awesome.
if I lay on my back and I put my hand up flat like this, I can't touch the top.
Oh, good. Okay, well, one I showed her was not that like that. It was pretty tight. But the one we're in now, we sit up and read a book when we're in there. We're in the hard shell.
Yeah.
Yeah, but those
And
aren't
that's what I
cheap.
want. That's the one
Yeah,
I really want. Yeah.
yeah, they're not cheap. I think those start at 100,000 or something. I don't know, but
Yeah. And I want a 4-person one because like if you do the math, if I can put 4 people in there, and
yeah,
if I'm open 8 hours a day, I mean that's 32 people a day we can treat for free.
yeah, yeah. Phil has the same thing up there in Sun Valley. He's got a 4. He can go in there, sit down in a chair, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Like here in LA, if you want to go use a hyperbaric, you can find a place around that'll, treat you, but it's going to cost you $200 an hour. So
sure.
if it's 200 hours time, if you need the 60 sessions within 30 days, so people aren't going for treatment because they can't afford it.
Right.
Same for me. I was blessed to get it for the first 2 for free. Then when I needed one, I got to find that money. My dad saved my butt. It was my dad who stepped up. And
That's
my
awesome.
girlfriend. Yeah, if it wasn't for them, I probably would have been gone now because I was at the bottom. There was nowhere to go but up from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was literally at one point just praying for pancreatic cancer. It's like, God, just give me that because I know it's quick, fast, and it'd be out of here. Just but every day I didn't want to wake up like that.
Right.
Yeah, but one thing that saved me too is like I tell people is like for me, like I was a counselor, so I had a thing that I taught hundreds of people, and one of them was if today's a good day for suicide, then tomorrow will be a good day for suicide. So then today's Monday, so now it's Tuesday. I just got a bad day. It's still bad. I said, okay, if today's a bad day, then tomorrow, if I can do it today, I can kill myself tomorrow. So I always had it move me to the next day, but it's not the right day. So, and I was on cruise control with that, not on purpose, but just because what happens, you kind of, for me, my brain was stuck in a loop. Like every day I woke up, I had to figure out, what day of the week it was. Then I got to figure out what month we in. Every day like clockwork. Then once I sipped on a little caffeine, I get up. I had these long 8-foot scrolls on my wall, 8 feet by like 2 feet tall. And I had appointments and things I had to do, just written everywhere. My house, it was just crazy. Just stuff written everywhere. And I was putting things in place because I kept making mistakes, missing doctor's appointment, missing work, even people this is one thing I figured it out. It took me a while. But like, let's say today is Monday. So if you say, hey, let's get together, have lunch on Tuesday. I'd be like, yeah, cool, let's do it. At that time, Tuesday was like a month away. Like I can't see Tuesday. Tuesday's so far away. So you'll be there at the place waiting on me. And you call me, I'll be like, what are you doing there? It's not Tuesday, But if we're talking and you say, hey, meet me at the place, we'll have some lunch tomorrow. I can compute tomorrow. So that was things like that I was dealing with. So I was putting things in place to try to get around this thing,
Yeah, I can relate to that. So I went to an event. Do you know who Dr. Joe Dispenza is?
No.
Okay, I need to connect you with that too. Anyway, I was at this event and they were measuring brain scans, and they're doing. He hooked me all up, and he looked at my brain, and this is Dr. Nicholas Dogris, and he looks at me and goes, "Wow." His comment was to me he says, "You got a lot going on up there." I go, yeah, I run a business. I've got, I referee. I'm chairman of Idahoans for Safe Technology. Yeah, I got a lot going on, but it was very red, the color on that, the way they showed it to me. And so I says, okay, so what next? And I'm not really thinking that I have any problems, right? I think like, okay, well, I got lots going on. So then I wanted to get my mom. I knew it would help my mother, and so I took her up to North Idaho to Neurotherapy of North Idaho, I think is what it's called. I interviewed her way back, episode like 150, 160, somewhere in there, 160. Interesting session. So anyway, take my dad and her up there, and we again, they showed me my mom, my dad's, my brains, and he goes, "Yeah, you got a lot going on." I says, "Yeah, what the hell does that mean?" He goes, "This is not good. You got so much, your cortisol's up, you got so much stress. This is high red. David, you got to learn to chill out." But anyway, I went through the treatment and I did 15 sessions in 10 days. I know I was doing 2 sessions a day for 10 days. So big difference on rewiring the brain. And that was huge for me. I mean, I was like you, I was missing names. I kind of recognized people, but I didn't know their names. And I just thought because I was just so super stressed, but it was beyond that. It was really affecting my brain, the amount of stress I put myself under.
Yeah.
So that was a big piece too. You should check into that as well. So, I mean, we're connecting all these dots now. I love it how we're connecting, our 10-day healing retreat, colonics, PEMF, neurotherapy, hyperbaric chamber. I mean, all these things, all these tools, good food, fats. Also, do you eat keto? Are you on more of a keto type diet or no?
No, I've tried that off and on, but no, not exactly.
You might want to look at that. That's kind of a key. Getting those fats to the brain is important. And the other thing that I've learned too that I think is also important is homeopathy. Have you ever checked into homeopathy?
No.
So I've had Dr. Floyd on several times, and they're using just small little doses just kind of to stimulate the body to heal itself. It's actually fascinating. And it's a long-term process, but it's very, very powerful for the body using homeopathy. So anyway, these are all great things that, most of America never hears about because what do you hear on TV? Take a drug.
Yeah.
Pop a pill. You got such and such, then this will work for you. And no one's getting to the root cause. We got to get to the root cause. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And that's what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing. And I love it.
Yeah.
Anything else? Did we miss anything else out?
No. And just the other thing is like I said, my crowdfunding is not for just athletes. It's first responders. We got to get our military. As a matter of fact, I put a video out today. Did you see that shooting that was in New York? The guy left a CTE suicide note.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it came out last week that he was right. He did have CTE. But I put a video out there because my phone was going crazy. People are making me out to be the CTE guru, but it's not true at all. I'm just a guy living through it and helping people, but I'm not I give all that credit to Joe Namath because he saved my butt. Matthew Frederick, the guy who wrote the article, saved my butt. But when it came down to that shooting, like I did a video. I said, guys, I know our athletes are doing this, and we got to help them. I said, but we also got to help our military. Those are the guys I fear the most. I said, trust me, there's going to be a wave of military mass shootings coming. We got to get ahead of this thing. I said it on that video. You can actually go on my YouTube channel and see I'm wearing the red shirt, Team USA. I said it the next day to the judge and on the courthouse steps outside. The very next week, a guy, I think it was in Idaho. I think he went into a bar and he shot 4 people. Was it in Idaho? Montana, maybe. I think it was Montana. One of our veterans went in and he shot 4 people, and he was hiding in the woods for a week. They found him about a week later. The next week, a guy went on a military base. He shot up 4 or 5 of his people on the base. And then last Sunday, a guy went into a church. He burned up one building, and he started shooting in the other one. He was a veteran. And after they subdued him and stuff and stopped him, they weren't sure how many people. It was like 5 people still missing because he burned that building. So they were probably, I never went back to check to see what happened.
Right.
But these are people like with me when I was going through it. This is what I want people to understand. If your loved ones were in sports or they had that head condition, what your brain starts to tell you, it's on a loop. Suicide. It's time to go. You can't live like this. Die. But
think about all you can be ordinary, say you're a 34-year-old housewife with 2 or 3 kids and you don't remember getting smashed in the head by the volleyball or hitting the soccer ball when it was that wet with water. You had a little concussion as a 16-year-old and playing for 10, whatever. And maybe you had 4 or 5 of those, and all of a sudden one day maybe there's something that just jars that, and now you're into this deeper level, and you're thinking like, oh, well, so many women come in here, and I can't tell you, I bet it's half of my clients have been on or are on anxiety meds or depression meds.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And Tucker Carlson just did a great August 29th, he had this guy on talking about the danger of these things, and they're all taught in an industry. You probably know this, that they're safe and effective when really not forever.
Yeah, I tell you right.
And what else? They also have they have a lack of sexual drive and orthormin, ED, and I'm seeing these commonalities all these years. And when the Tucker published that podcast, and I listened to it, I went, oh, this makes so much sense.
Yeah. But my thing about the military was this, is like the regular person might think about suicide because, but the military people, remember, they're now the best trained killers in the world. So we go into what's normal for us. And so I think that's why they're killing. They're like, it's stuck in the head. Who do I kill next? Who's the enemy? Oh, right. They harm me. Okay, that's who I'm going to, So we got to treat those guys too. So
I agree. Good stuff. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show. And if you're listening on the show, whether radio or podcast, we'll put all the information in the show notes with how to connect with Will and his foundation, his GoFundMe. We'll have all that in the show notes there, so you can check that out, guys. We got to cut our $4.7 trillion per year sick care plan, and I believe with just some of these basic natural things, we can get it down to less than $1 trillion. I really do. All right, my friends, it's been a pleasure to be with you. Until next week, have a blessed week, my friends.